Hello YouTube, this is TJY Productions here. I'm going to try to do a quick little DP demonstrate video here, show you how to set it up. Obviously the easy way, per usual, is you claim your train here and you just hit these 5 buttons. Usually it'll get it right just about every time, but I don't know. Had interesting experiences. I've had a couple times where it comes in wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and start my head consist. I got 4 locomotives here, 2 on the rear, and I know that there is 128 cars in between them. Let's get these started. Go ahead and air brake cheat. I don't need to worry about that. I just have to connect my new cables. The process for actually linking a DP, the remote must be conditioned first. So we have to set the DP up and say, okay, I need you to link to 7454. And when we say 7454, then we have to pick its direction. So I'm going to use this one for our demonstration here. And I'm going to go to DP setup and DP lead, and then DP direction relative to the leader. Is it the same or the opposite? Here it says forward or reversed. Obviously, forward matches the leader, which is also forward. If by chance it was running long hood forward, then it would be reversed because it's the opposite. So just think of this as being opposite and this is same. If I link this one up, obviously this is going to have to be reverse or opposite because the leader is the same one that this one is. But I only need one controlling DP per consist, and then I guess I can start these two. Put these both online. Now normally this is an MU'd consist, right? So all 3 of the brake hoses, locomotive brake hoses, brake pipe, and the MU cable plus the chains are connected between these. And obviously you have one that's set up as a lead in terms of the air brakes. So like this one, because it's the DPU leader, independence lead, automatics, and freight. This one is trail cut out. But because they're MU'd, normally, not in Run 8, normally you could run the headlights. This is short hood lead and this is short hood trail. So you never have to go back to this one to turn the headlights on, because this one, you flip the rear switch on and this light would come on because they're MU'd. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. However, where I'm at, we have hostlers that just do single middle, and even though they link to this one, they leave this headlight on. So when I get on this one to take it to the pit, I have to get off, walk all the way around, come up here, unlock this door to get in, just so I can flip that switch to control that headlight from this unit, and it peeves me off to no end. But that's beside the point. Run 8, however, even though this is not MU'd, thinks somehow magically the DP is controlled from the front when it comes to the rear headlight. So we set this to short hood trail because it's trailing. Now if this was by itself, then it would be long hood trail, obviously because it's not the controlling, it's the trailing unit in the consist. So short hood trail for this because this is short hood out. And we go to our leader, we have short hood lead, and I can turn that on, leave that on dim, and our DP set up. That's really just about that simple. So the only thing after that we have to do, once we have the DP enabled, is come back up to the front end, and here we would go to our DP menu. We would go to the DP screen, and there would be a lead enable, or a lead setup and a remote setup. Now obviously we already set the remote up. This is our leader, so we hit lead setup, and we would punch in this 7903, and then hit link, and then it would ding and say linking, and then it would say link OK, and then it would ask if you want another unit. So you can run, obviously, this is our B set. This is the 7903. We could run another set of DPs in the middle or at the rear of our. We could put more cars and more DPs and have multiple DP sets throughout this train. That just makes it more complicated. So we link it, we hit done, and then it says DP penalty. So it puts us, basically bleeds the train down, and it takes 2 or 3 minutes for the DP penalty clear. And then it wants us to charge the train before we do the brake pipe test. So we release the brakes, let the brake pipe pump up. And when it does this, the DP is actually cut out, and it only sends the air from the head end, which verifies brake pipe continuity. So if there's anything closed, a hose that's not laced, or an angle cock turned, or a gap anywhere in this brake pipe, the DP is not going to get air to it, and it won't, you have a problem, which is important because this is pumping air. If it was just pumping air, we could have a gap in here and not know it. We could have not hooked the hoses up here. Well, I guess only in one spot. I guess we would know we would have a. Well, no, we wouldn't have any way to tell other than the flow would be really quick because it's just pumping from both ends. Anything could be messed up, and there's no way to verify that just by looking at our screens. So we release the air, it sends back here. Once the air hits the DP, we'll see our brake pipe pressure on our screen go up from 0 because it's bled down up to like 3 or 5 or whatever, and then the compressor will kick in. And we can see the DP's compressor or the main res pressure, and we'll see it drop as the BP and equalizing reservoir or whatever change, and it starts pumping up. So then we charge the whole train. On our DP menu, there's an option for brake pipe test. So again, we hit that, we hit execute, and then it says, okay, make a minimum reduction. So we make a minimum brake pipe reduction, and it again cuts the DP out and verifies that, okay, this minimum brake pipe application propagates through the train. Oh, hit the DP, brake pipe test, okay. And then it'll do a leakage test. So while the handle's in minimum, we hit leakage test execute, and it will make a 20-pound brake pipe reduction on both ends. So 70 pounds in the brake pipe that propagates throughout the train, and then it lets it sit for a couple minutes, and then it cuts out both brake valves, waits another minute, and then times for leakage. And then after that's done, it'll tell us what the leakage of our train is, and if it's more than 5 psi, we have a problem. Usually, most of the ones I've done have been at most a pound or 2, which isn't bad. It's just leaky gaskets and worn hoses and stuff. Minor things that don't generally cause a problem unless it's super cold out. And then once that's done, it'll say, okay, move the handle to full service. So you throw the handle in full service, and then it says, okay, move handle to release, and then you move the handle to release, charge your train up, start punching your PTC stuff in, which you don't have. Get TO set up, don't have. And then the last thing you need to do before you depart is do a bump test. Now, this bump test is very important. It's going to verify that we've put the direction of that DP consist in the right direction. So to do that, our DP control screen here, and each row of buttons on this keypad corresponds to a button on the screen, or it can. And on this screen, one of these buttons says move to back. When we hit move to back, it's going to do this. Put this little line up here between our sets. And what this line does is allows me to control my head consist independently from my rear consist. So once this fence goes up, there's another thing that'll say move to front, and I can move this back. What it's talking about is marrying up. So if I had a third set here and I move to back, the line will pop up here. So this, everything behind this is the back set, and everything in front of it is the front set. So if I had a C set here, I could hit move to back again, and it would put the line here. So now every time I move this one would go, but the C set would stay separate. Or I move the line back, and the B set will match the C set. It gets confusing, um, a little tricky if you're trying to do some maneuvering there. Uh, but you move to back, this line pops up, and then you have, when you're in idle, a thing that says traction, which when you hit it will go to notch 1, and then there's a button for idle or less traction. You hit less traction and go back to idle. Or there's a button for brake, and you hit brake, and it will set up dynamic brake. And once dynamic brake gets set up, then you have more brake, which increases your dynamic brake effort on the rear, or less brake, which of course would allow you to accelerate more. And then again, you can go back to idle and then control this separately. So to do our bump test, we have to put the fence up and kick our brakes off, verify our things are released, put a reverser forward, and just put some power on the rear and wait and see what happens. And we went to notch 2, and you might see this top line here. You'll see some green here as it bunches the train up. You can see this yellow faintly, and we're moving the wrong way. Why is that happening? Probably because I got the wrong set in there. So I'll go ahead and move to front, set the independent, and get stopped here and check this out. That's a failed bump test because we should be moving forward if our direction is the same. So what did I do wrong here? See, I left it in reverse. So we do DP forward, we'd have to come back here and unlink this, of course. Relink to our 74, whatever it is. And then come back up here and relink, put the number back in. Go through our stuff again, do our brake pipe test. And now, move to back, put some gas to it, kick our brake off, and we should move that way. Except I'm in neutral still. Try this. Now we should see this green. There it is. See it shooting through. So this is the slack bunching up. And we're about to spill our coffee here. Boom. There it is. Moving forward. Bump test complete. And now once that's done, you get your PTC logged in, trip optimizer set up. Say, hey, yard, we're ready for the road. And yard will say, okay, signal indication. And you say, all right, here we go. Thank you. Get some signals out there. And off you go. So that is DP tutorial, how to link a DP in Run8 and also IRL, which is great. I don't know if you're like me, it's important information, but might not be anything you'll ever need to know in your life, but now you know. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully you learned something. If you got any questions about anything or want me to demonstrate anything else in Run8, just let me know and I'll do my best to make that happen. I like doing these videos. I just I don't have the patience, I guess, all the time. Or I feel like I ramble on and everyone's bored. So if you're hearing this and you're bored, I'm sorry. I should have warned you, but that's all right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.